Hey Scorpio, it's Romy. This is your August 2021 soul story. Hope this finds you well. If you're sun rising or your moon is in Scorpio, you might find this general reading just gives you a little bit of a heads up to navigate over the next few weeks with the insights and messages that come through. So we are into Leo season and we are opening up your energy with the Ten of Cups. Now there are far less harsh outer planetary clashes going on in the month of August, which means that you will find the energy feels a little bit softer and more conducive to much more of a productive sense of progress. That said, Leo energy does in fact make a bit of a square to your sign, which means that that productive growth will also feel a little bit pressured at times. And I think it's going to be important that you find some ways to constructively look for outlets for your energy and your emotions. Now, opening up with the Ten of Cups suggests that you are seeking to find that harmonious space, you know, that aspect of emotional contentment. And it may be that things are starting to emerge for you that is indicating that it's on its way, or somehow you're finally making a breakthrough. Or you may indeed be feeling the distance between where you are now and where you want to be, where you hope to be. Now, this is a month where we have an awful lot of unexpected information, surprise, news and events taking place. In fact, it's the second of the blue full moons in the sign of Aquarius coming in later this month. And if you think about the phrases that we use, out of the blue and once in a blue moon, there is something very unexpected in terms of the deliverance of what the energy can do for us, okay? That's set to bring about some abundant, very fruitful blessings. And we want to keep your energy and your focus orientated towards that. So we have the new moon in Leo coming in on the 8th of the month. And at that time, we also welcome Lion's Gate, which is where the sun and Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, align and open this beautiful portal of energy. Now, that new moon is squaring Uranus, so there is sudden change that can come in and may well impact the situation that you either find yourself a part of or what you are seeking to try to come together. And the power of your manifestation, of the way that you are thinking and how you are perceiving what is happening and what is unfolding around you is so, so important. If you find that you're scrabbling for energy, if you're scrabbling for answers, for a way out or a way through, then it's a really interesting time to kind of stop and understand that there is a beautiful moment. It's like a pause, you know, it's the breath between what's been and what's coming. And the indecision or the kind of energy that one finds itself in when we're contemplating the Two of Swords, as we feel that we have a decision or a choice to make, is also just an invitation to kind of sit in that liminal space for a moment. And perhaps it is about redefining what happiness looks like for you, redefining the things, the experiences, the people that are going to be part of that new story, that new cycle for you. You know, sometimes there's that sense where everything has felt very slow and then all of a sudden it's happened all at once. And, you know, if you find yourself kind of standing on the opposite edge of what you'd anticipated or expected, even in that, there is still this moment where you get to observe and see the ways in which you are changing and really start to recognize that this can be a time of tremendous pivot for you. I suppose more so than any other month this year, I see August being an opportunity for Scorpio to say, okay, I just need to change this, or I need to change everything, or there is something that I have to address in this moment. And, you know, when you're presented with that choice, it's kind of like evolve or be set to repeat, then, you know, there is a requirement to kind of dig a little bit deeper, but at the same time, what comes from that can be completely groundbreaking. And what I do sense is there is this rapid shift that's going to be happening. And the ability for you, Scorpio, to be able to find a sense of courage and a sense of devotion to really listening to yourself and to that wise inner counsel that is encouraging a certain direction or a certain decision, you're gonna find much more peace. You know, you're gonna come into a time where actually you can kind of start to almost like emotionally detach from perhaps some of the energy that is being projected or coming towards you, or even, you know, where you find yourself in the midst of different experiences that feel very fractious and frenetic at the moment. Your High Priestess is kind of bringing in almost like an initiation. You know, it's like there's rites of passage that are being performed through the course of this month. And the thing we need to remember, especially as we look at the energy of the Two of Swords here, is, you know, there isn't really a right or a wrong. There is just an experience to be had here. And if you can come at this month with that kind of an understanding and an approach, then you're really going to start to make impact, not just for yourself, but also in the areas of your life that you really want to see meaningful change. Now, with Leo season in your 10th house, that is putting a firm focus around your legacy, like how you want to leave an imprint in this world, especially what's going on for you professionally and in your career. With the square that Leo makes, you may be up against issues of authority and power, perhaps, you know, triggering issues of where power has been misused, you know, in your childhood or in different relationships that you've had. But it's a wonderful opportunity for healing and growth as you get some deep introspection that High Priestess is kind of almost unearthing secrets and information that perhaps previously you weren't in a space to be able to fully understand or to be able to receive. And so then as we make our way toward Virgo season into 11th house, there's far more of this reminder of what your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations are, and really trying to remind you of the faith and the fortitude that you have, and giving you a big dose of that kind of motivation, that you do kind of possess the ability and the potential to kind of completely transform something within yourself and within your life. And of course the world brings in this cyclical nature. It's bringing something to a point of fruition and completion, and it is also delivering really positive news. And especially with that 10 of Cups, I do absolutely feel that through the course of this month we have a series of trines with Uranus, first on the 2nd and 3rd in Venus, then the 19th and 20th with Mercury, and then Mars on the 21st, 22nd. Now Uranus, that planet of rebellious revolution, coming in with surprise announcements, information, it can bring about this sense of permanent but very positive change in your world. And you might have to let go of how you thought it was going to be so that you can put yourself in a position to be able to embrace what's coming and what is about to be. Now Uranus, of course, is going retrograde on the 19th of the month, and it slows things down and it gives that moment of introspection so that you can really start to master something in your own spiritual revolution. And again, your High Priestess, your Two of Swords, these are quite quiet, introspective energies. And they're helping you to come back into sense of union and alignment and partnership with yourself, because you got to be on board and have your own back right now, especially in August, because there's so much opportunity. And across all signs, there's this really powerful message about getting prepared. And you know, when our intuition kind of speaks to us and it says, you know, we should really do that thing, and we kind of put it on hold and we put it on hold. And it's like, it's not the month to do that. August is the time to absolutely, when you get that inkling or you feel that nudge or that push, deal with it then and there, because you're going to put yourself in a far better energy space to be able to take advantage, to say yes to opportunity, but also to be in a much better position should things go awry or there be any kind of flux or upheaval. But really this preparation is about the expansion and the growth and the rapid change that's coming in. Now, your Two of Cups, your 10 of Cups is also suggestive to me that, you know, there's a firm desire within you right now to try to seek the ways in which your emotional inner well can be topped up right now. Like, what's nourishing you? Who is nourishing you? You know, do you feel part of that soul family? Do you have that contentment of having good, strong bonds and relationships and connections around you? And if you don't, then perhaps you're going to be really considering and reflecting, what do I need to do to change, to transform? Remember, energy never is really created or destroyed. It's only ever transformed and transmuted. And so we're constantly bumping up and coming up against experiences, and even day to day coming into this sort of energy bubbles where we're, you know, hitting up against certain emotions, and sometimes they can feel like really out of context. And I have a sense that this might be going on a little bit for you through the course of this month, Scorpio. It's like, I don't know, you're really focused on one thing, perhaps on a work or more professional capacity, and then all of a sudden, like, the memories come flooding in, or something kind of just like grips you, or there's something to do with you know, an emotive exchange that comes like wildly back from the past. And, you know, not in a kind of Mercury retrograde kind of way, that's not where we're at this month, but just for you, it's in this recognition that you've just hit up against that energy, and it has something to tell you, it has something to share with you. And so if you can move into that sense of being open to receive the guidance and the information and the secrets that it holds, you're really going to evolve from that. There's a tremendous amount of spiritual growth that's going to be available to you. Now, by way of relationships, I also think there are choices for you to make here, you know, choices to evolve connections and to, I suppose, come to terms with the fact that people are in different seasons, people are changing as you are changing, and therefore sometimes the way that we show up also needs to evolve alongside that. And I think that's going to be really important, particularly from a professional capacity, from a workplace, as you perhaps identify what you need to now do and how you need to do it. And you know, dealing with that kind of political landscape will be important. But also in 11th house, as we come into Virgo season, it's really going to hit with your friendships as well, you know, the social groups and the communities and the initiatives that you're a part of. So the Two of Cups for me is this beautiful sense of synergy and alignment and devotion, but really making sure that you're questioning and making choices and coming into a place of harmonization that is really, I want to say, the right thing for you. The right thing for you at this time, because the worst thing that you could possibly try to do through this month of August, when you have so much potential for these really groundbreaking shifts, Scorpio, is to feel somehow kind of pushed or controlled or forced into a certain direction, or to take a certain path. That's going to be something I feel you would be resistant and rebellious to. Your Magician is coming in here reminding you of the alchemization of everything, you know, your ability to be able to harness the power of your thoughts, to actually use what you have. And I think this is also really important, Scorpio. So if you're wanting to effect change, if you're looking to see where there are opportunities that are going to start to open up for you, look at what you're good at. Look at where you have perhaps abandoned or withdrawn or moved away from things that really sustained and nurtured you. What we want to be looking at constantly through the course of this month, Scorpio, is an antidote rather to the disruption of your peace, not to be focused on the cause of it, because focusing on the cause of it just keeps it active in your vibration and just brings more of the same. So if we're having a pivot month, and if we're trying to scrabble for these energies or answers, then like we said, the way out is in the pause, in that liminal space between what was and what's becoming. And here's where the Magician can really take a wonderful stance and really activate the ability to kind of completely transform something. He also wants you to step out and be seen, to start to create. You know, your creativity is highlighted beautifully here. Your ability to be able to sell anything is wonderful. So anything from a work perspective, any projects, any launches, anything that you have to say or that you are committed to, you also have far better energies to help you achieve and progress than you may feel initially as you move into this month. Like we said, productive pressure. And again, back to this idea of something coming in out of the blue. The Magician, you know, can create magic. So there's something alchemical in the process here. And maybe even for some of you, by way of specific relationships, there are new connections that might emerge that feel very soul aligned, you know, very deep, and almost that kind of, well, I knew you were about to show up. It's that sort of an energy I feel that's coming in. Now, Juno, the asteroid goddess, on the 2nd of the month is moving direct in the sign of Sagittarius, and she rules marriage, partnerships, and in this sign, with the shift, with this trajectory, it's all about personal freedom, and feeling that sense of autonomy even as we remain in our partnership situations. And sometimes we can be married not to a person but to our work, or to our growth. And so it's about, how do I still have a sense of personal freedom within that and not be so bound and contained and held back. Remember, Sagittarius is about that beautiful, expansive vision questing that's required. That's something I think you have to bear in mind as we see this energy of the Four of Cups coming in. He's kind of got his hand on his head here, just feeling like, how on earth am I supposed to deal with this? How am I supposed to move through this? And there's almost this kind of listless energy that can kind of settle. And remember, sometimes August has that kind of languid, hazy feel in the northern hemisphere especially. And we are at times, I suppose, like fighting the need to just want to be lazy and rest. And of course, you get to have sacred rest and at the same time be purposeful and productive. Like, it doesn't have to be an either or here. But there's also something about you perhaps not seeing the potential of everything around you. Perhaps you're just looking at things in quite a narrowed lens at the moment. And so waiting for some of that external stuff to come in and give you the boost and sort of, I suppose, remind you of your worthiness is only ever going to be temporary and short-lived, because it's just like the sugar hit, isn't it? But your High Priestess and your Magician here is saying there's something far more complex and deeply intertwined with your soul contract and why you're here and how you actually understand about the way that you're operating and evolving. And from that perspective, you can actually start to, like we say, pivot to harness and command your own energy in a different way. I think also with that world, things can sometimes come to a point of completion, and it's a great time to be wrapping things up, by the way, to try and get projects finished, or finally get that DIY project done, or whatever it is that's sort of been hanging over you. Great energy in August to actually allow the completion of it to happen. But sometimes when that does, and it kind of creates this vacuum in this space, and we don't know how to fill it, we kind of don't know what to do with ourselves. So that then that energy of the Four of Cups can also come in. There's even a boredom quality to that. But I think also you might be a little bit bored of some of the drama and the churned up conflict energy, and this might be playing out around you, or it might be something that you're going through within yourself. But I think that there's certainly a tiresome, exhaustive quality to saying, okay, more to deal with here, like more to go through. The thing with the Tower that we need to remember, and all of these birds have flown free from this burning building here, is that innately it's about liberation. The truth shall set you free, and it's because whatever this building was constructed with, and the foundation with which it was it was built is not sustainable. It's not sustainable. And so it has to be torn down so that something far more permanent and positive and enduring can be put in its place. And so, sometimes our foundations need to be rocked so that we wake up and there's that jolt of awakening. So yes, it might be happening around you, but it's certainly an aspect of what you might be feeling through yourself in the course of this month. And I suppose, I think a lot of the signs with the soul stories this month have been almost receiving these kind of what I would call spiritual slaps, where it's just like, how did I not see this before? How did I not recognize this? And it might be, how did I not recognize this about myself, or about another person, or about something to do with my life experience right now? But from that place, there is so much new energy that's coming in that's really supportive and important in terms of moving you towards an experience that's far more fulfilling and nurturing in terms of what you might have been enduring. And I say enduring because I think there is a quality of you feeling like you were kind of caught up in something that you couldn't stop, or you weren't able to kind of free yourself from. And with this Uranus energy like dominating through the course of August, but in a positive way, there really is the time to kind of learn from a spiritual perspective and to evolve. Now, the second blue full moon comes in with a beautiful conjunct to Jupiter, planet of expansion, also retrograde in Aquarius. And the invitation here is that whatever the news and revelations that are coming, they are going to advance you. You are going to gain from them. They are bringing in solutions. They're bringing in that sort of reminder to say, you know, it's not supposed to be a hustle. We're not supposed to be scrabbling. We're supposed to be allowing. There is an abundant, fruitful blessing that is wrapped around that energy. So pay attention leading up and in the days and weeks that follow that full moon to see where that's coming in for you. Now, your King of Cups, it may well be representative of yourself, Scorpio, or another water sign, Pisces, Cancerian, or somebody that's displaying, you know, that very deep, almost kind of hidden quality that's sort of, they're giving you the answers but not all the answers. It feels something almost a little like a riddle that needs to be unpicked, and so it's almost like you might be finding that from spirit. It's like they're giving you parts of the pieces of the puzzle but not the whole thing, because you're meant to discover. Or it might just be a relationship that you're coming up against, and you know that you feel to a certain degree they're being a bit elusive or they're holding information back. But again, your High Priestess is reminding you the answers will be found within, but secrets will also come to the surface, and moon energy is always revelationary, so even what has been obscured will always come to light. And from that, again, there might be this real wake-up call or this sudden dramatic change that needs to ensue in your life, but this is also about moving you in the direction of optimal well-being, happiness and emotional contentment. It's not for no reason here, Scorpio. You know, the Two of Cups at the center of your reading, this is love. This is deep, profound, beautiful, spiritual self-love, and having that kind of a love orientated towards you, and also in you, you know, with you in a place to be able to receive it. So, you know, regardless of the specific connection or relationships in your life or what that thing might be that just helps you to feel that energy, that higher vibration of love, that's what all of this is about. So, you know, this journey has real purpose in August, and it isn't meant to be hard. It's meant to be truthful. It's meant to be honest. It's meant to be progressive, and it's also meant to be really powerful. So take that productive pressure and let it pivot where, you know, it needs to, and see how you can emerge from that. So just gonna have a look at these oracle cards and see how they want to reflect. So this is the Ark deck, which literally is the largest deck I've ever shuffled. I think there's over 100 cards here with this particular one. Let's have a look. Okay, so we have the chameleon, camouflage, adaptation, clairvoyance. So again, you've got the nod to the High Priestess with a lot of your own innate intuitive gifts being activated through this month. The ability to be able to transform and change and pivot is also being shown. Camouflage, I think, is important because there are times when we just need the space to be able to step back and just get on with the work at hand, whether that's, you know, your own growth, whether that's something that you need to do professionally or deal with within a home family environment. It's about not being bothered. So it's about making sure that the boundaries are in place. You may have a kind of quality emerging as well of just kind of not wanting to be seen, but be mindful of the fact that the magician is saying it's time to be seen. So, you know, I want to say the guides might have you in a pushing you off a cliff moment, especially from a work perspective. You know, remember, technology and everything is lit up around that 11th house energy, and so utilizing that and putting yourself out there is also going to deliver successes and deliver advancement and growth. But yes, at times it can be super uncomfortable, you know, especially if you are used to kind of working more behind the scenes. But there is something, especially in Leo season, about us all being invited to own our own stage, you know, and kind of step out and be courageous and brave in that. So, okay, we have treasured memories. Maybe there is this reflection that's having to come in quite strongly. Like I said, you're kind of bumping up against energy here. Just be mindful that it's not sort of moving you into this kind of listless state where you start to feel like there's nothing about the present or the future I can hold on to. Everything sacred is in the past. Because right now, you know, psychically, everything is moving, everything is changing, constantly evolving, and sometimes we can have those rose-tinted glasses on. But at the same time, there are aspects of memories and experiences that you've had that you probably need to honour and cherish and celebrate a little bit more. And maybe that's also partly to do with the narrative of self. So if you're finding yourself overly critical or harsh to you, and kind of not being able to champion yourself in the ways that you need to through the course of August, then please go back to those times and those memories where you have achieved, you have been successful, things have worked out, you have been recognised, you have been validated, there has been a beautiful flow of abundance, because this abundance and fruitful blessing is absolutely wanting to come in and be a part of your reality this month, okay? Alright, so these are crystal oracle cards. Let's have a look. What wants to come through? Okay, we have Desert Jasper connected with the goddess energy of Vesta, and the word is resolve. Of course, jasper as an energy is a very grounding stone, and it really helps to give us that sense of protection, but also to kind of just allow us to feel more centered, more clear-minded, more courageous within the self. And desert jasper is interesting because it kind of gives that connotation of like hot, arid landscape, and perhaps there's a need for something to be nurtured, to be watered. And I feel like with Vesta, it's about getting something right on the inside so that the outer world can reflect, that journey of change and growth that's going on. But more than anything, I feel this is about you having the resolve to make changes that will be permanent for yourself, okay? And that's a really positive thing. Or resolve to come into a place of acceptance about what has happened or what is happening, understanding, like we said, that there's never a right or wrong, it's only ever just experiences. So Scorpio, this is just a general reading for August. If you'd like to join me for the extended, we're going to continue this conversation. We talk for another 20 minutes or so. It's a way to just support my channel and to obviously get extra information. I'm really appreciative for those of you that join me. You can find the link for the extended version in the description and the comment section underneath. And I'm just going to invite you to think about a question that might not have come out in the main spread, and we'll pull some cards on that for you specifically in the extended. Just going to then clarify this main reading. So your 10 of Cups, you've got the Emperor. May well be a family situation that you're dealing with right now. 7 of Cups, possibly some confusion or uncertainty in relation to that. Temperance coming in with the 2 of Swords. Empress. Even though there's some delay and stagnation with that Hanged Woman, the Knight of Wands helps to get everything moving very quickly. So nothing stays the same for long in August. The World and the Sun, that's beautiful. And the 9 of Cups. Look, there's such blessings and things to be excited about coming in for you, Scorpio. 2 of Cups bringing in 3 of Pentacles. Meaningful. But can you see it? Or you get what you want, but do you still want it anymore? Again, I see this conflict of like stepping out or stepping up. Death in the Tower and the Fool. With every sunset, there is a sunrise. With every ending, a new beginning. High Priestess coming in again with that King of Cups. So much information coming from Source for you this month. The Creatrix, of course, links to the Magician. So getting a lot of double cards this month. Knight of Pentacles. Okay, Scorpio, I'm going to leave it there. If you want to join me for the extended, I look forward to continuing this conversation with you. Otherwise, I'm going to wish you beautiful blessings for August. I hope you enjoy the month, and thanks for tuning in.